We talked about empathy a while back, and it's different from sympathy. Do you guys know the difference? Mm-hmm. Yes? Yes? The difference between sympathy and empathy?
Okay. If you don't.
Cool. Okay. When you're sympathetic about somebody, you're feeling sorry for them. You feel bad for their situation. Yeah, I'm sorry you feel bad. I'm sorry that, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for the situation you're in, that you're going through. Empathy is putting yourself in their shoes, putting yourself in their position of what they're going through. Empathy is addressing. It's almost like you're putting on what they're going through, and you want to feel and be with them. In your marriages, we should be empathetic towards one another. Of anybody else, we should be. We're empathetic with our children, our grandchildren. Oh, now I got a coco. Oh my gosh, let me put a big Band-Aid on it and a pillow on you so that you don't get any cocos. Because they mean so much to us. We're empathetic. When our daughters had surgery, I cried when they were just 3 years old. And so you're empathetic about it. So turn your Bibles to Romans 12. Romans 12, great chapter, yes it is. Goes back to talking about the living sacrifices. That's what God calls us to be, a living sacrifice. Chapter 12 of Romans, verse 15 and 16. I'll give you a second to get there. Romans 12, 15, 16, it says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind toward one another. And do not set your mind on high things, but associate with the humble. Do not be wise in your own opinion." I was looking up something today in studying, and I was looking up the word, when God just inspired me to look this up, was the term irreconcilable differences. How many of you guys ever heard of that? Yeah. That's a legal term in the state of California. It's actually the term that in 1969, the state of California was the first to institute that in their laws to allow divorces based on the fact that you don't get along. Now, I'm going to read something to you that's taken from that law of irreconcilable differences, what the state, and now just about all the states have taken in as part of their law for divorce. And an irreconcilable differences, we call this the justification of no-fault divorce, which means you're getting a divorce based on the fact that it's not your fault and it's not my fault. It's like an agree to disagree. Okay. A justification of no-fault divorce. Any sort of difference between the two parties that either cannot be changed or the individuals do not want to change can be considered. Read that again.
How do you spell empathy?
E-M-P. Got it?
E-M-P.
Pathy. A-T-H-Y. So, I'm going to read this to you again. According to the state law, that it's okay to get a divorce based on this, that the husband and the wife either cannot be changed or the individual of that relationship does not want to change. That's irreconcilable differences. I don't want to change.
What verse?
Romans 12, 15, 16.
16.
Romans 12, 15, 16. I don't want to change, and I can't change you, so I want a divorce. When I began to look at the word empathy, I saw the opposite of that in the term irreconcilable differences. Fail to see the other person's perspective in helping them to change. Because you fail to see me and where I'm at, and you don't understand what I'm going through as a spouse, and you're not getting it, and we're all communicating on two different levels. We can't agree. We don't get along. I want out. Well, you're not changing. Well, you're not changing. So you got this finger pointing thing. Somebody or both are not being empathetic. So, empathy is the practice of thinking about or trying to feel what the other person is feeling. Practicing feeling what the other person's feeling. So, it's being considerate. It's not thinking about you. It's thinking about your spouse. We're going to get into that in a minute. Too many spouses, and I'm speaking from, totally experience here, guys and gals, that too many spouses are self-centered and self-absorbed. They cannot, for a moment, take the time to consider the feelings of their partner because they're too busy thinking about what they need, what bothers them, what ticks me off. I can't stand it when you... And instead of like, okay, right now I'm upset and I can't think straight and it's because something you just did. Help me understand why you said that right now, because what you just did made me upset. And before I fly off the handle on you, can you tell me why you just did that? So I can understand you a little bit better? Because if not, I'm just going to go off on a tangent and be mad at you. And then I'm going to say something real dumb and it's going to blow up. So why did you do that? Please, help me understand that. Because I have blown up, okay? I've been known in my household to be an extremist. Any extremists in here? That just go off on this side and act ridiculous? And the other spouse is like, come back over here. It's not about that. You need to calm down. I'm a father of 4 daughters. I have to be extremist. My wife's all, no you don't. Your daughters are actually well behaved. You don't have to act like that. They're good girls. You're right. I'm being ridiculous. They're actually going to be okay. They have a mind of their own, and they're actually making right choices. I need to calm down. That's the balance. That's listening. That's being there and actually responding instead of being on our high horse, being upset, staying there. I understand I'm upset. I understand you're bothered. I understand it doesn't please you. But are you willing to come down off of that mountain? Because when you don't have empathy, it's kind of like that game we played as a kid, King of the Hill. It's like you had to fight like the dog pile. I got it. You kick each other off. And it's a game. And when we argue and we have disagreements, and this is, well, I'm starting off right now, guys, as a side note. I'm starting off in this Bible study by getting right into it, as you notice. Because this week we all had arguments with our spouses. This week we all had disagreements. Maybe even today, maybe even on our way to home group or to Sunday morning service. We got into it. We had a disagreement. And I really want to understand what you're saying. I really do. I'm tired of fighting about the same thing, guys. I really am. And I understand that, your spouse will say, I'm just tired of how they act. I mean, they just, every time we talk about a subject, they fly off. I can't talk to you because you fly off.